We are starting the IGP Manager World Cup. And I'm going to change this to 30. Today we're going to be covering Group B, which is in the league IG World Cup B. This consists of Eastern Europe. And I'm going to share the stream real quick before I go on and on. And this consists of Eastern Europe, Italy. The Group B consists of Eastern Europe, Italy, the United Kingdom secondary team, and the rest of the world team. Eastern Europe has a team of Krzysztof Kasper Szyjek, the Polish player, Emil Elty, Mr. Tobacco, Jiri Kratowchvil, Lorenzo Crozio, Sesko Forg, Ivor Spinotto, Michael Craig, Joshua Brown, Marco Mallorca, Harry Davis, Mo Ilmi, Rich James, Francisco D'Angelo, Ivan Sioko, Matteo Chiappalupi, Archibald, and Suleiman Dogro. For the Eastern Europe, we got Krzysztof, Casper, Emil, Mr. Tobacco, Giri, and Z Forg. For Italy, we got Lorenzo, Sesko, Ivan Spinotto, Marco, and Matteo. And for the UK, we have Michael, Joshua, Harry Davids, Mo Ilmi, Reece James, and Archie Bold. For the rest of the world, we got Abin Jacob and Suleiman Doguro. What I think is going to happen in this is that I think that Italy is going to be first of this group. They are the defending champions of the World Cup, and I think they have another strong team that can win it all again. The UK too is going to finish second. I think they have a very solid team. Some of these players I think are better than a lot of the players in the UK than some of the players on the UK1 team, like Michael and Archie in particular. And third, I'm going to have the Eastern Europe team, mostly because they have 3 players. They have a full group. They have 6 players. They have a solid team. A lot of these guys I don't know. Emil is the only one I've heard of before this tournament. And last, I've got the rest of the world because they've only got 2 players. Though these 2 players I think are pretty good. Abin Jacob and Suleiman Dagiro. So now we just have to wait until group stage gets started. Got around 11 minutes to go. Right, and we have around 5 minutes ish before the important qualifying session that determines the grid order for the race. Qualifying session is very important because obviously a lot starting in the front makes it way easier to make your strategy turn it into perfection than starting towards the back would be. Though you can do well starting from the back in this game. Though it has been harder with recent updates. As we continue to wait. We got practice has officially been locked, so qualifying results are going to come out like any moment, like in a couple minutes, probably. Who's winning the race? I'm gonna go with. I think it's gonna be probably Matteo Ciappellupi. That's what I'm predicting. Is gonna win this race for the Italy team. I think in second it's going to be Archibald for UK2, and in third I'm gonna go with probably Sesko for the Italian team. His qualifying results been no, that's Turkey. There's Oh, we do have qualifying out. Emil is on pole. Archibald in second. Reese James in third. Z Forg in fourth on the super soft tires. Josh in fifth. Kristjek in sixth. Rest of the world Pavel Sudakov in seventh. Mr. Tobacco in eighth for Eastern Europe. Kasper Stujek in ninth for Eastern Europe. And then really bad qualifying for Italy. Though they do have the only guys on sauce. Then we got Michael Craig, Harry Davids, Mo Ilmy, Sesko, Mission Win Tomorrow for which is Evil Spinata, I think, and Marco Maiorca, Bull Racing team. With last place being Jiri Kratovil for the Eastern Europe team. And then we got Frank, Matteo, and Lorenzo starting on softs as the bottom three. Now I'm going to go into the race. I think with this qualifying, it puts Eastern Europe in a very good spot. I'm gonna turn off the sound. Makes it a lot easier to hear my commentary. But the sound it does make the race more even though the sound makes the race more immersive. I want people to be able to hear me because it was a problem with the last World Cup streams that people couldn't hear me. Having Emil in first is going to help Eastern Europe a lot. UK2 is also in a good spot with Archie, Reese, and Josh all having good qualifyings. Eastern Europe has some more good qualifyings of Z Ford, Krzyzczyk, Mr. Tobacco, Casper, all solid on a solid spot. One rest of the world driver, Pavel Sadukov, in seventh. He's in a pretty decent spot. Unlikely that the rest of the world will make it out of this round. They're likely going to be fourth, with only Pavel doing this race. And Esteban Ocon, Emil on pole. On board with. We're going to go on board with him real quick. He's got an empty field waiting for him on the Istanbul track. A great place to be, especially in a clean air dependent track like Turkey. Because in Turkey you want to be in first because you can get a little bit of a breakaway on the opening lap if you can get first, if you could qualify first, which Emil has that benefit. Archie in second is going to be tough to break away from though. Archie is a very good manager. And I think and we'll see if he can keep up though. I think he can. I think he might be able to. Reese is in third. Pretty solid spot for him. He's doing his first live racing in a while, though, so we'll see how it goes for him. Z4 is in fourth place. Might I haven't seen him race, but we'll see how he does. Joshua in fifth. He's a pretty solid manager. I'd say worst of this UK team, in my opinion, though. Then we got Krzyzczyk in sixth, in a pretty decent spot. Pavel in seventh. Mr. Tobacco eighth. Kashmir in ninth. Michael Craig 10th. Harry Davids 11th. Mo Ilmi 12th. Sesko 13th. Misson Winnow 14th. Marco Mallorca 15th. Yuri last on the super sauce. Then we got Frank Matteo Lorenzo. Italy, the champions, had a really bad qualifying. There's six of the bottom seven is them. They won the tournament last time around, so it's going to be very very interesting to see how they can do for following some early struggles in this qualifying session. Another interesting thing to see is how will Eastern Europe do? They had the best qualifying in the bunch with five of the top nine, and Emil on pole position. We'll need to see how they will they will follow that up in the race. One rest of the world player, Pavel, he's in a very difficult spot to get into the top three, make it out of the group stage and get into the final stage because he needs to be in the top three for that because top three of each group does make it into the final stage. I'd say the goal for each team, Italy got for Italy, the softs have to work decently. Number one, the and number two, super soft guys have to. I think they need to hold on to their they need to hold hope for a good lap one, number one, and they need to hold on to their boost, number two. And for the UK team, they need to they need to keep the Italians for Michael, Harry, and Mo. They need to keep the Italians. They need to keep the Italians behind them. And for the guys in front, they need to They need to try to pressure Emil on who's starting on pole. And for Eastern Europe, Emil needs to look to break away. The rest of them need to just try to try to save boost and stick to the UK guys as best as they can. And for Pavel just needs to try to get the best result as possible. He won't have teammates helping him. We're gonna go back into we're gonna go into the TV view for the start. On board with Emil L2. And for the winner of this race, now after qualifying, I think I'm gonna go with Archibald to win the race. Second place, I'm gonna go with Emil. Third place, I'm going to go with probably Frank. Sorry, Mo. Here we go. 25 seconds to lights out. In one of the most important races of the season. The start of the World Cup begins in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, And it's lights out and away we go. Emil gets off well. Archie Bald is still right behind him. Joshua Brown gets past Z4, got the start. Pavel gets past Mr. Tobacco. Mr. Tobacco holds on in front of Michael Craig. Kreisjack gets by Michael Craig. Emil able to pull away, 0.5 second gap. Joshua Brown gets ahead of Reese James. Sesko, still not a great start for the Italians as Bull Racing Team falls behind the soft runners. Mission Win Tomorrow and Sesko are down in 12th and 13th, though Harry Davids had a terrible start. It's now down in 14th after just passing Mateo. Mio continuing to try to pull away. Needs to get over a second to try to get out of the DRS of Archie Bold. So he wants to try to stand first, get a little bit of a breakaway going. Pavel has had a good start. He's up in the 5th place. He's got 3 UK guys ahead of him in Reese, Josh, and Archie. Michael Craig is another one that got a good start. He's up in the 7th place. Mo is in 10th. He had an okay start. Bad start was Casper. He's down in 11th. Jiri and Marco also had bad starts. They're in 17th and 18th, respectively. Now Emil is now crossing the line for the 3rd lap. Now Boost and DRS is activated, and it is a 1.22 second gap between Emil and Archie Bald. Archie Bald is going to have to boost if he wants DRS. We're going to go on board with Archie for this lap. Archie going around the corner. He's going to go through. It's now 1.42 behind Emil. She's gonna start using some boost. Is it enough? He does get the DRS. Emil does stay in front of him though. And Archie did have to use some boost. He also Joshua and Reese and the guys behind him all had to use boost. Really good for Emil, except for Kashmir. So this is what it. Emil's now still probably in the best position of this race right now. Emil's still working on it. Gap is now at 8.74. Will Archie have to use boost once again? Now going back onto the TV cameras. Archie Bald. 0.74 is the gap. 0.87 between Joshua and Archie. 0.63 now. Archie easily gets DRS. And he is now into the lead of this race. Great news for UK. Emil is now in chasing mode. He's in the 2nd place of this race. He should try to hold on to Archie, not let him pull away. I don't really think it will go too well if Archie is able to pull away. Gap is now 0.63. Emil, it looks like he's going to be able to hold on. 0.71 is the gap. Emil does get DRS. Is Emil going to be able to pass him? Yes, he does. Emil now retakes the lead of this Grand Prix. The 3 UK runners are still behind with Pavel in 5th. Michael Craig has moved up into 6th place. UK now has 4 of the top 6. Really good for them. Some of these Eastern Europe guys are having trouble keeping up with the top 6. Z4, Kreisjack, and Mr. Tobacco starting to fall off a little bit. It's really bad news for Italy, down in 12th. Still with their lead cars still in 12th place. Though the soft owners are keeping up, which is good news for them. G-Bold is now at a .653 gap. Gains the DRS once again as expected. Archibald now taking the lead at this Grand Prix. Michael Craig is like right on the, and look at that. The top five, six have broken away. The Krzyzek is now 1.75 behind Michael, and that is really bad news for I'd say Eastern Europe and Italy. Krzyzek is looking to make his way up. Krzyzek using some boosts. They're going to go on board with him. See if he can get back into the train. Krzyzek, he's still using some boost. Gap is now 0.51. He will make it into the train, and the train reconnects. Very important for those guys that the train sticks together. Gonna go back into TV view. A lot of these Eastern Europe guys are now kind of low on boost, which is not very good. Which is not good for them. Do have the Italians pitting early. Sesko comes out. Sesko comes out on 17th. Mission Winnow 17th. Marco Mallorca 18th and Giri 19th. See how this early pit stop works out for the Italians. I don't think it's gonna work out too well for these Italians starting on softs. They are now not in the train due to the other Italians pitting early. We do have a bunch of players going into the pits. Krzyzek is now in the lead of this Grand Prix. Emil is first into the pits. See where he comes out. Emil heads onto the soft. Oh wait, it was Archie and that was first in the pits. I was not paying attention to the front. Oh, and Joshua Brown is able to overtake Emil into the pit lane. Very important for the UK. And now Reece James is ahead of him. Top three of the guys that have pit already are now from the United Kingdom. They can now control the flow of the DRS, which is very important. They they have control of the entire rotation. Is Joshua Brown not going to go for it? Joshua Brown barely makes the DRS. Not able to overtake Archie Bald, but that is okay. Do have Z Ford, Krzyzek, and Gesper going into the pits. Z Ford onto another set of super softs, which is different from what others are doing. Everyone else is looking like they're heading onto softs. Z comes out in P6. The overcut is working well. He's now in. He's now in an area where he can mess with this, where he can mess with the UK control over the rotation. Very important for Z Ford. Emil looks like he is heavy. He's struggling to keep up with the three UK runners. And Michael Craig has just boosted past them. Right now, the top three are the three Italians and softs. Who are just heading into the pits on lap 10. Frank, Matteo, and Lorenzo. See where they come out. Frank is leading off the Italians. Very good. Frank now in the 13th place. Still just behind. It's just not. I don't think it's good enough. 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and 19th place for the defending champions. It's a struggle of a race for them so far. UK is still maintaining control of the DRS flow. Archibald is continuing to. Archibald and Joshua Brown are still working hard to contain Z4, who is in third place currently. UK currently is 5 of the top 6 with Mo, Michael, Reese, and Joshua and Archie. The one exception being Z4 of Eastern Europe. Pavel is still sitting there with full boost for the rest of the world in around almost close to full boost. He's in ninth place. One player for the rest of the world is racing well. The Italians have officially bridged the gap. They're now in, seemingly into the train. Kasper Zizek is still not pit. I just noticed that. Unless it's a glitch. It might be a glitch. It might be a visual bug. Joshua and Archie still heading the train. Top 2 of this race. They're they have a supreme position as they can control the rotation. With how short this DRS zone is at Turkey, you only need 2 players at the front for that to happen. Oh, and Archie misses DRS. This puts Z Forg into P2. Very interesting development of this race. Z Forg has moved up in the second place for Eastern Europe, and now the United Kingdom does not have does not have full control of the train. They still have Joshua at the head, but it's just not work. But now they have Z. But now right behind Joshua, there is Z Forg for Eastern Europe on the super soft tires. See, what can he do? Can he hold on? On board is Z4. If I can get on board. Z4 looking for an overtake. He's going, and he is. And Z4 is now into the lead of this Grand Prix for the Eastern European team. There are 5 UK players behind though. Joshua, Reese, Archie, Mo, and Michael. 6 UK players. Still, Harry Davis is in another decent position, and he's in 10th place, which is ahead of the lead Italian Mission Win Tomorrow of of Evil Spinato. He's in 12th place. A struggle bus for him. Joshua retakes the lead. Can they get a double overtake? Reese barely gets it. Reese is now up into P2, and UK has control of the train once again. They with the key double overtake there. Z4 had a bad lap as his tires are nearing the cliff. That is enough for UK to regain control of this train with now this time with Joshua and Reese. Very important for them. The United Kingdom is having a secondary team is having a great race so far. Now we're going to go on board with the lead Italian Mission Win Tomorrow. Who's currently in 11th place. He's 0.95 behind. Oh, and he misses the DRS. Misses the DRS. Very big mistake there. His teammates Frank and Shesko are now in 12th and 13th, ahead of Kasper Zizek. I think the Italians might be able to salvage a decent race from this. Still a struggle for them. back into the TV view. Mission win tomorrow. Currently in 11th place. 0.98 behind. Is he going to be able to catch Pavel for this DRS? Frank is 1.06 behind him. 0.08. And they both are able to get the DRS, and so is Sesko. Very important. Joshua Brown and Reece James. And we do have some early pit stops from the three Italians of Marco Mallorca, Sesko, and in Mission Win Tomorrow and Evil Spin Bonato. Z Ford has now moved down into 5th place. Mo Ilmi in 6th behind. UK can get control of the top 5 if with an overtake here, or an inevitable pit stop by Z. As I think the UK guys are heavier than Z4. Meal is now down in the 9th place after starting on pole. Struggle for him. Ooh, and here comes a lot of people into the pits. The entire UK team and Z4. Reece James leads them into the pits. James coming out in P10 ahead of Joshua Brown. Crease check into the lead, Emil in P2. Emil's boosting, trying to get to his teammate. So the UK has control of this train. They're top 5 in this train. See if an overcut works out for Eastern Europe, though. Emil and Krzyzek stay out another lap now. Frank and Matteo, the two Italians who started on the soft top, two Italians that started on the soft compound tires. They're they're hanging out behind Pavel and the two Eastern Europe players. The UK still has full control of the secondary train, the train of the people who have already stopped 2 times. They are top 5 in this group. Going to see how the overcut affects it, though. You have Joshua ahead of Reese currently, with Archie in 3rd of this group, Michael 4th, Mo 5th. Then we got Z Ford with Harry Davids right behind. K is in a beautiful position. We do have some pitting. Eastern Europe, the two Eastern Europe players have still not pit of Emil and Krzyzek. Going extraordinarily heavy. They might be trying out the 3-stop strategy. We first go into Pavel and Frank. Frank gets past Pavel in the pits, interestingly enough. Frank is now into 11th place. Solid spot. Italians are slowly making their way up. Z4 is struggling to keep up with the top 5. Might be dropped off the train sooner or later. On board is Z4 this time. He's not getting DRS. Harry Davids and Frank, here they come. Harry Davids is able to get the overtake. Frank, I think he needs to boost. I think if I was him, I'd want to boost past, but he's not deciding not to. Now we do have Krzyzek and Emil finally entering the pits. Krzyzek comes out in P8. Emil comes out in P13. I think they are 3-stopping, going 21. What? How can they can't 3-stop? What are they doing? They're just going heavy for no reason. I thought they were 3-stopping. Anyways, we have Reece James still heading the train. Joshua Brand behind. Goes Kasper Szujik. entering the pits, the current leader of the Grand Prix. UK has top. UK will now have a top six of this Grand Prix. The UK2 is having the race of their lives. It's an ideal situation for them. They do have Frank, who's going to. They do have some problems with Frank, Pavel, Emil, Grishik, Matteo. No, they are in a perfect situation to handle them right now. They have track, especially a track like Turkey, where track position is more important than anything else. Currently now, and as we go, about to head on board with Frank Legend, a, a one-time Project Landis champion, won the season two, currently leading the Italian team in eighth place overall. Italy's comeback is going okay so far. They like it's the pro right now they'd be positioned to get the second most points of any team. They're beating a lot of the Eastern Europe players. Frank is just not using boost. Why? Interesting. He's going to let Matteo up into P8. I think he's going to try to naturally catch up to Krzyzewski, who is trying to hold on to dear life behind the six UK runners heading this train. Great news for. Will Krzyzewski be able to hold on? No, he's not. It's now 1.23 gap. Krzyzewski is using boost, trying for dear life to stay on to this train. Bull Racing Team barely gets it. He's one of the ones who started on super soft, and he is sacrificing his race to help Matteo and Frank. Very good teamwork by Marco Mallorca. He noticed that his race is not going too well. Then he decided, why not help the guys whose races are going slightly better? And he is one that can actually keep up pretty easily with Krzyzewski. 0.56 behind. Krzyzewski is once again over a second back from the UK runners. How Bull Racing Team 1.02, he barely gets it. He decides to play it safe. God, that is nerve-wracking for Marco Mallorca. But he is staying up into eighth place. He's holding on to Krzyzewski for the Eastern Europe team. Now we're going to have a look at the boost. Joshua has pretty solid. Has a pretty good amount. Reese is almost full. Archie Bold almost full. Michael almost pretty good amount. Mo is a little bit lower. He still has some. Harry is very low. Grease checks low. Bull Racing Team who's heading into the pits low. Matteo high. Frank high, pretty high amount. Lorenzo pretty decent amount. Pavel pretty decent amount. Z low. Casper kind of low. Emil decent amount. Mr. Tobacco is out. Jiri is out. Here we go. Marco Mallorca comes out of the pits ahead of Jiri. Tajiri is going to get pretty easy DRS if he can stay behind Marco Mallorca. Another early pit stop for the Italian team. Looks like they're heading towards a 5-stop strategy. Do have Joshua Brown. Here comes the UK. They're all heading into the pits. All 6 of them. Joshua Brown leads them off. Joshua Brown now leads them in. Going to be in a very good position. 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. They are still they are still the best equipped team to win this race. But they are 5-stopping, while some of these Eastern Europe players are 4-stopping. Do I think they're going to be able to catch up? I think they are. There's a connection problem. Sorry, we will have to wait for a little bit. Things are maintaining. As we do have the first Italian, the second Italian, the first actually kind of legitimate Italian lead of this race, with Matteo Ciappoluppi now taking the lead of this Grand Prix, having around 70% boost to his arsenal. Frank Legend is getting past Krzyzek to try to take control of this train. I think these guys are going to be pitting soon though. Frank Legend able to maintain DRS, able to overtake Matteo, though those top two do go into the pits, and as does Lorenzo. Krzyzek in the lead of this Grand Prix, Pavel in second place. You see what Frank is going to do. So on to another set of sauce. And he is in the middle of the UK train. This is overcut worked out beautifully for Italy. Italy is now in a great position. All of a sudden, they're now nice. And the UK is now going to have to work for a good result here. With Frank Legend in 10th, Matteo in 12th. Pavel is now just taking the lead from Krzyzek as Z4 is entering the pits. James now leading off the train. Frank is now behind fourth. Frank and Matteo splitting the UK members. Mo Ilmi does get by Matteo though. He's now up into 11th place. As he boosts past another one, boosting past Frank. Harry Davids is now the only British player behind the Italians, as he is now beginning to make his move. Here he goes, boosting past Matteo. Next up, he's going to boost past Frank. There he goes, and is now UK top 6 of this train again. Though we do have Frank and Matteo right behind, and they have a guy who does not have much boost to attempt drops ahead of them. They are still in a very solid position in this race, and will be able to. And I think they will be able to beat some UK players, most notably Mo and Archie. And we do have Pavel heading off. I think he is forced. He looks like he is going to be force stopping. He comes out in between Marco Mallorca and Lorenzo Roggio. Though Lorenzo is looking to get past him. Lorenzo is right on top of him, and Lorenzo does get past Pavel. We'll see how the 3 versus the 4 stop dynamic ends up working out for this race. Do have the leads being Eastern Europe on 3 stops. Krzyzek being in a very good position. Pavel also, I think, on a 4 stop is going to be in a pretty good position. He's trying to hang on to the back of this train of 5 stoppers, led by Reece James. Though I think I still think the 5 stopper is going to be a winner. Though I don't know, I just think so. It's just a feeling. Pavel is having trouble holding on to this train, and he's not able. And he's not able to. He misses the DRS. Bad news for Pavel Sudakov. We do have Krzyzek heading into the pits. Krzyzek comes out, not really in a good position. I thought he'd be. He's not. I think he's over a second behind this train. And Pavel is right on his ass already. Krzyzek is going to have to boost if he wants some DRS. Will Krzyzek do it? Krzyzek already beginning to use some boost. Pavel's using some boost in response. Both make the train, and they are trying to hold on, though they are much heavier. Krzyzek is going to be running out of boost to do so in a little bit, though. Not the front, that boost advantage for the UK might just be enough. Even though they still have some 4 stoppers hanging onto their train, boost advantage might be enough, even though they are for 5 stopping here at Turkey. My opinion, even though they're 5 stopping, I think they're not using the super soft tires enough. Relying too much on a soft tire for this 5 stop strategy to work to its ideal potential. That's just me. The Italians are even using the softs more, though I think they're going to be going supers for final 2 stints. 6-6. We will see. As once again we have Pavel and Krzyzek. They fell off the train. The 2 lead 4 stoppers. Pavel is looking for the train. He's not trying to stick with Krzyzek. He is not. Here comes Pavel. He barely makes it. He's going to get his one last DRS, I think. And Krzyzek is going to. No, he's not. These 2 are going to pit. No, they're not. Okay. It's only Marco Mallorca that pits for the Italian team. He goes on to another set of softs. See if the UK decides to pit after this lap as well. Frank Legend is starting to make his way up. Frank Legend has got past Mo Ilmy. He's up in the 5th place. No. In a pretty good, decent spot. Reese passes Joshua, and here comes the UK players. They are all heading into the pits. And now in the lead of this race, we have Frank Legend, Matteo Ciappellupi, and Lorenzo Correggio behind. Matteo and Lorenzo are going to have to boost, I think, to get to Frank. You do have Harry Davis. He's coming out in P14. Mo Ilmy is decided to go different from the rest of the team. He's going on to a set of super softs. See if that's an accident. No, it is not. It is not an accident. Looks like he's not complaining about it. Mo does pass Archie. He's going to be faster. And look at that. The UK, and just notice that the UK team has now got into the four-stopper group of Eastern Europe. Now we do have Reece James. Almost passes Casper, but does not. The Team UK is in currently, I think, the best position, probably the best position. Which, looking see how where Frank comes out. Frank comes out in beautiful position, fifth place overall. Mateo comes out in the 11th. Got his five-stop strategy. He's immediately passed by Mo Ilmy on the super soft tires. Mo Ilmy is looking to try to get through the field. It's trying to. Well, Reece is trying to hold on to Kasper Schüzek. We do have leading this race. We have Pavel. He's got a 13-second gap on the UK runners. See if that is enough to hold on. A win would be very important for this rest of the world team with one player currently. So they will be getting Suleiman, I think, for the second and third race. Mo passes Reece. Mo is going to be the one now trying to keep up with Kasper. And I think he's going to be able to on his super soft tires. And he's now close enough. He's able to get the DRS. And he's able to pass Kasper. He's now up in the P3. Meanwhile, we have Archie, Josh, and Michael have ended up passing Frank Legend, and now Emil has just got by him as we were speaking. This has been a very interesting race so far. Different strategies for the different teams. Always interesting to watch how the different strategies end up affecting the race. Kashmir he's going to have trouble keeping up with Mo Ilmy. Reece James is right on him. Kashmir decides he doesn't even try. He lets Mo go in clean air. Reece is trying to boost past him though, unable to do so. Trying to get a cheeky one. Emil's now in ninth place for Eastern. Teo's now ahead of Frank. Frank has had a kind of meh start to the stint. He's had a bad kind of not really the start that he would have liked to have. Mel is now in Mo's breakaway is now continuing. It's in third place. Still. Do have Mateo. He's trying to get by Emil. Unable to do so. Wants to get into position where he can be on the butts of the UK runners. Mateo does get by Emil. Up into ninth place. He uses a little bit of boost to do so. Right now we're going to go on board with Kasper Schüzek, currently in fifth place, going to have to try to keep up with Reece James. Currently, gap between them is now 0.9. Is that enough? I don't think so, but in gap is now 1.11. He doesn't even try. Here comes some UK runners. Archie Bald and Joshua Brown are able to get ahead of him. So we do have Pavel and Mo coming into the pits. Pavel onto a set of sauce. Mo onto a onto a set of sauce. And Pavel comes out in P12 into the five stopper train as a four stopper. Pavel is in a beautiful position to try to win this race. He's not going to be able to keep up, I don't think. If he does for a couple laps, that would be extremely nice. He is in a good position to win this race. So again, here comes my suggestion. There should have been more for the five stop. If you guys are gonna five, if you guys are five, if there's a five stop strategy, there needed to be more super soft stints for both the UK and the Italian team. That's how I feel like this. That's the way I feel like this race went wrong, and how Pavel was able to stick around on his much heavier strategy on a four stop strategy with much more fuel. Currently, we do have Kreisczyk in the lead. Reese James and Archie Bold are going to be trying to catch up. Now, if I was Sesko, I'd try to drop Moilme, try to get him out of there. I think they're going to be able to do that naturally. Looks like. Speaking of someone who gets dropped, Emil gets dropped. He's now down to P10, heading into the pits. Moilme also does get dropped by Mission Win Tomorrow and Sesko. He's going to beat them, as those two do have to pit. I think the UK runners are going to go to lap 48 before our pit stop, and they are going to go onto a set of super softs: Reese, Archie, Joshua, Michael, and Harry. And the Italians are either going 48 or 49, or they might be going 49. That's what I think they're going to do. I don't really like that strategy. I think they should have gone 40 and then 6-6 on the supers. That's what I would have done. No, they can't. No, 40 and 7-7 on the supers, not 6-6. Seven. If I was starting on softs like they were, that's what I would have done. But I think Pavel Sadukov is going to be able to win this race. He's in a very good position, 6.49 behind, and the UK runners and the in the top seven all have to pit. Top eight actually have to pit. Here we go, 48. Here comes pit stops. Everyone pits, but Frank. Frank is going for an overcut, but I don't think that's going to be that. I don't think the overcut's going to be good. I just don't. Kreisczyk onto a set of super sauce. Interestingly, just noticed that. We do have Reese James coming out of the pit lane. He's going into P5. I think he needs to. I think he should boost up. That's what I think he should do. Chase gonna go into the chase cam view for Reese James. Looks like he's going to hang back for a little bit. Wait as he thinks the super softs are gonna carry him up. Frank Legend's making an interesting move. He's boosting some. Is Frank trying to go 14 laps? No, he's not. He's pitting this lap. Frank Legend heading into the pits. He's going to go onto a set of super soft tires. Here he goes. Set of the super softs goes on. And up into P5, second place of this train. Archibald, he's holding up Archibald currently. Reese James, I think you need to boost up. You need to boost up. And that's what he's doing, boosting up to Moilme. Might be able to salvage a win out of this. Here we go. Reese gaining the DRS on Mo. Reese moves up into P3 with a tap of the boost button. Next up is Krzyzek, heading into lap 51 of this race, going on board with Reese James. Reese James now trying to get to Krzyzek. He has a great pace right now, catching the four stopper. I think he's going to have to use a little bit of boost to get the DRS though. I think gap is now around 0.9. He's able to get it without the boosting, so he's gonna have to do it to pass. He's gonna wait a lap to pass. I think he can deal with sitting behind Krzyzek for a lap. He has time. Pavel is out of boost. Reese has a lot of boost. He's like 70 to 80. I think Reese James is in a perfect position to win this race. Frank Legend done a good job. He's up in the fourth place. I think he's going to try to boost up now. That might be the play. Cashbeer is having trouble keeping up right now. Let's look at what Reese James is doing. Frank is able to get the DRS. So Archie misses it. So does Mo. Important move for Frank Legend of the Italian team. Here comes Reese James. He is going to try to take the lead here. The lead of this Grand Prix might go to Reese James of the United Kingdom. Here we go. Comes the boost. Do have Frank Legend. He's now on in the DRS range of Krzyzek. First, we're going to go to Reese James. Here we go. Coming. And he passes Pavel up into P1. Heading into the last lap. He's going to get this win. Interesting is going to be the battle for P3. We got Krzyzek, Frank, Archie, Michael, Joshua, Matteo in there. He does have enough. He does have boost. Here we go. Look at what Michael's doing. Michael's using boost at a high rate. Might be a little bit too high for my liking. A little over aggressive. Oh, here comes Archie. Archie's is heading. It's like almost out of boost. Joshua going aggressive with it. Joshua. Reese James heads on to win. We go. The battle for P3 commences. Michael Craig heads in. He's going to get P3. Joshua P4. Krzyzek P5. Frank P6. Matteo P7. Archie P8. Lorenzo P9. Kashmir 10. Mo P11. Emil P12. Bulls P13. Micro P13. Harry P14. Cisco P15. Mission Win Tomorrow P16. Z P17. Mr. Tobacco P18. And Jiri is coming in last place. Reese James played the last stint beautifully to get this win. Pavel did a very good four stop. He just didn't really have much help. He just didn't have any help. That's why he wasn't able to win this race. I think Pavel probably did the best race of the day. Got P2. Michael did pretty solid. Michael Joshua both did pretty good jobs. Krzyzek did a pretty solid four stop. Frank, Matteo, Lorenzo did decent starting on the softs, finishing 6, 7, and 8 and 9. Archie P8, Kashmir P10. Those are IGP points. The rest of the UK the rest of the World Cup points will go to Mo P11, Emil P12, Marco P13, Harry P14, and Sesko P15. Now it looks like I think it will be UK 1, Italy 2, I think. Though we'll be close between Italy and Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe 3 and rest of the world 4. That was a very interesting race to watch between the 5 stops for Italy and the UK and the 4 stops for Eastern Europe and Pavel. Thank you guys. We're going to go through the results one more time before I sign off. You can go and do the point system will be just putting that out there. The point system is going to be for 18 drivers 35 P1, 29 P2, 25. Is it, I don't know which point system they're going to use. I'm not going to try to. No, I'm not going to try to predict how many points that everyone gets. That's too much for me. For here we go. Top. I think the top 15 will get points. Either top 15 or the top 12. So either Emil's last point score or Sesko's last point score. So first we got Reece James, second Pavel, third Michael, fourth Joshua, fifth Reece, first Reece for UK, second Pavel for rest of the world, third UK Michael, fourth UK Joshua, fifth Eastern Europe Krzyzek, sixth Frank the Italian, seventh Matteo the Italian, eighth Archie for the UK, ninth Lorenzo for Italy, 10th Kashmir for Eastern Europe, 11th Mo for Eastern Europe, 12th Emil for Eastern Europe, 3rd Marco for Italy, 14th Harry for the UK, 15th Sesko for the Italians, 16th Mission Win Tomorrow, Evil Spin Monano for the Italians, 17th Eastern Z4 for Eastern Europe, 18th Mr. Tobacco for Eastern Europe, and 19th Jiri Kratoshvili for Eastern Europe. And now thinking about it, I think that's the end of the stream for today. Thank you guys for watching. I've got a race at 9 p.m. I don't think I'll stream the North